Well, if you are one of the 40 million men and women looking for love online, this show will make you stop and think before you click and begin your next relationship. Now, it used to be that when you met somebody you liked, you called them, you asked them out, and you went on a date, right? But things are very different now because in today's day and age, romances are started and conducted online. But is the person you've fallen for and shared your deepest secrets with really who they say they are? Or could they be hiding something far more sinister? Now, you might have heard the term catfish. There are people using Facebook or other social media to create false identities in hopes of luring people in to romantic entanglements. Now, Devon was a recent college graduate and looking for love when she met her catfish online. He called himself David. She thought she was going to spend the rest of her life with him. Take a look.
I met a man named David online. He said he was 20 years old from Cleveland, Ohio. He used to be a professional soccer player in the UK. He was back at home working on student teaching. When I saw his profile, I thought he was cute, so I commented on his profile, "Hey, I think you're cute." When my relationship with David first started, it was like a typical relationship because we would talk constantly through texting, phone calls, instant messaging, emails. He said, "I love you" very, very soon in the relationship. I considered this a real relationship and I was committed to him. He made me trust him so much that I felt comfortable sending him intimate pictures of myself. We started talking about moving in together, possibly getting engaged, maybe getting married. He painted this beautiful picture of this wonderful future that I think any girl would love to have. I didn't realize the dark part of David until after making plans to meet several times, and it would never happen. He would give me these excuses of these outrageous things that were happening. He'd have a heart condition. His son had seizures. He was in a major car accident. His sisters were in a major car accident, and they broke both of their legs. His grandmother died. There would always be some traumatic event, some catastrophe, you know, just some major crisis happening. I never thought that I could be fooled and manipulated the way that I was.
Okay, now you really fell for him.
Yes, I did.
I mean, you fell hard. This was intense for you, right?
Yes, it was very intense.
Okay. Now, had you been in a lot of relationships before this?
I had not. I had only had maybe one serious relationship before David.
Okay. Now, what did he tell you about himself? Because you got at a very intimate level with him in terms of self-disclosures, right?
Yes.
You learned about each other. What did you learn about him? What did he tell you?
He told me that he was working on student teaching, that he used to play soccer professionally over in the UK. He had a knee injury, so he had to come back. He was working on coaching at high schools, running the family restaurant, and basically taking care of his family.
So intricate life. He told you details about his life.
Oh, yes.
How much would you talk to him during a day? How much would you interact?
Probably added up, it was easily hours.
Hours a day?
Yes. Talking on the phone, eventually text messaging. It was instant messaging.
So you talked to him on the phone, you texted, you emailed, every form of communication?
Yes.
But you hadn't met him?
No.
But you went how long without meeting him before things started to crack?
Total, it was about 2.5 years.
Yeah, coming up on 3 years you didn't meet him. I made a list of his excuses.
Yes.
Okay, you were going to meet him, but he cut his finger at a restaurant and was on pain meds, so he couldn't.
Yep.
Because who can meet a girl with a hurt finger? Okay, heart condition, had to go to the hospital and had doctor's appointments. His son, he had a young son, was having seizures, car accident, and his sister was hit by a drunk driver.
Yes.
Traveling for work, didn't want to be seen while he was sick and weak. I mean, all of these things, it just seemed like this was a drama-filled guy.
Yes.
When you see all of those in one place, what does that say to you?
How did I not realize what was happening?
Tell me this, because, see, I have an agenda for this show and for talking to you. What do you have to do to sell yourself on the fact that it's okay to not meet somebody for a year, 2 years? What did you have to do? I mean, let's face it, you're a very attractive young woman.
Thank you.
College graduate, you're intelligent. What did you have to do to sell yourself month after month? 1 year goes by, 2 years goes by, to sell yourself that this is okay, that you've never met this guy.
I think it was the hope. It was the hope that the fantasy would become real.
But why not get on a plane and just go knock on his door? Why not? Come on.
He wouldn't give me an address.
Okay, but what did you have to tell yourself to make that okay with you?
That I loved him.
That you loved him. Okay. See, that's my wife, Robin. We've been together for over 40 years. We've been married for, 36 years, right?
36, yes.
And I can tell you, after I had known her for 2 weeks, I could have been in the Antarctic with a hurt finger.
Yeah.
And she would have been there. If she wanted to see me, she would have been there. Right? I mean, and there would have been no excuse. I mean, just general delivery Antarctic. She would have found me if that's what she wanted to do.
That's right.
But somehow or another, you told yourself something that was there something in you that you didn't want to know if it wasn't real?
I don't think at that time I ever considered that it wasn't. I didn't know people would do that. I didn't know people pretended.
Oh boy, is this going to be a wake-up call for you.
Yeah.
You know, at the
I know
beginning of the
now,
show, we
yeah.
always say today's going to be a changing day in your life.
Yeah.
This is going to be a changing day in your life. We're talking about dating in the 21st century and all the dangers that go along with it. One of those dangers is someone called a catfish, a person who uses someone else's pictures to create fake online profiles in hope of luring someone into falling in love with them. Now, Devon fell in love with a non-existent David. Lauren and Bobby both say they met their dream guy, Sean, online as well. He was smart, attractive, fit, and an all-around good guy.
I met Sean on a dating website called Plenty of Fish.
He reached out by emailing, and so I responded back.
I thought he was cute. I liked his profile. He seemed to be normal.
So I was very attracted to Sean. He was very good looking, blue eyes, blonde hair.
From what I read on his profile, he seemed family-oriented. He was a teacher,
But also was a singer-songwriter.
musician.
He just seemed easy to talk to.
He seemed like he was very interested in getting to know me, which was important to me.
Love you.
Love you too. We did share some pictures that I wouldn't share to just anyone, pictures that I wouldn't let my parents see.
I think there may have been a little bit of sexual motivation. Sean would say things to me like, I wish you were here, or I wish I could kiss you. Sean's openness made me feel that I could trust him. As the months progressed, we did talk about moving in, getting married. He even talked about kids.
Everything about him was intriguing and kept me kind of on the hook. He was getting to know my family. He reached out to my mom on Facebook, sent her a message saying, like, your daughter seems like a really great girl. I can't wait to meet you and your family.
Well, let's compare some notes here. Lauren says that Sean said he was a 26-year-old teacher, bar owner, and singer-songwriter. That was your experience of him, right?
Yeah.
And tell me what his story was for you, Bobby.
It was basically the same. He was an American history teacher for high school, singer-songwriter, and bar owner, too.
Mm-hmm. So you guys were dating Sean online at the same time. With some nuances, he was telling you basically the same stories.
Yeah.
And you didn't, of course, know about each other.
Nope.
But he was reeling you guys in. What appealed to you about Sean?
He was very attractive. A lot of the qualities that he had, I was looking for in a guy.
Right.
He seemed educated. He seemed family-oriented. He seemed to be attentive to getting to know me. You know, interested in me, my family, what I did. The all-around good guy that I haven't dated.
When you started talking to him, he came up with excuses to not meet you as well, right?
Yes.
Let's talk about some of Sean's excuses, because you had your excuses. Here were his excuses. Car accident in Ohio and had to have knee surgery. Did one or both of you get that?
Both of us.
Both of you got that. So, well, he's got two knees. Suffered a blood clot from knee surgery and found unconscious by sister. Physical therapy on knee. Mom's breast cancer and double mastectomy. Migraines and seizures. Now, he had told you early on, one of the first meetings he canceled on you was because of migraines, and then the migraines turned into a brain tumor.
Yeah, he told me very early on that years ago he had been having migraines. He took a medication for it. He planted that seed very early on. Months went by. Well, still having migraines. They're getting worse. We're going to investigate it.
So the migraines turned into a brain tumor. I hate it when that happens. Okay. Then chemotherapy after the brain tumor.
Yeah.
Okay. Broken finger. Cut his finger with you, broke it with you. But now here was a twist that you didn't get. He had a sister, a twin sister,
Yes.
that talked to both of you and said what?
She, the first time I ever had a conversation with her was when she found him unconscious in his room and he had to be rushed to the hospital, and she called me the next morning to let me know this from his phone.
Right. What did she say to you?
I woke up to a text message from Stephanie, his sister, saying, please call me. I called her in the morning. She answered. She told me that she had found, this was the first time I talked to her, she told me that she had found him unconscious in his bedroom. He wasn't breathing, hardly responsive. He was rushed to the emergency room. This was soon after the knee surgery that he had.
So drama, drama, drama.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so Sean was a good-looking guy. You
Yes.
said David was a good-looking guy. Let's
Yes.
take a look at Sean. This is the picture. Hell, I'd date him. So good-looking guy, right? And this is a real person, but the real man in the photo is named Josie. And he says he has never spoken with either one of them before. Now, Josie is actually with us. He's appearing via Polycom because he says he wants to clear his name and let folks know that he had no part of this. So, Josie, how you doing, my friend?
I'm all right, Dr. Phil. How are you doing?
Is it eerie for you to see
Yes.
who you know as Sean, because that's the face you fell in love with, right?
Yeah.
That's the person that I thought I talked to for 2.5 months, every day, for hours.
Right.
Hours.
Yeah.
So, Josie, how do you feel about somebody? How do you feel about somebody jacking your identity and your pictures? And would they get them off your Facebook? I mean, what happened here?
I mean, you know, I'm a pop singer, so, like, I put up pictures and videos and everything and my music and all that kind of stuff, and it's just so weird because some of his excuses, you know, and the names that he was using was exactly, you know, to my life and the people I know and my sisters and my family, you know, so it's just so weird for me to hear, but it's even more, you know, disheartening to hear that they had to go through something like that.
Yeah. Now, you didn't know, you had no idea that your picture, your pictures, and your identity was being used at all until my producers called you and told you, right? We tracked you down and told you. What did you think when the other end of the phone was the Dr. Phil show telling you what was going on?
Well, at first, you know, I really didn't believe it. And so I kind of, you know, just really had to listen to the producer, and she told me everything. And I was just like, wow, you know, this is crazy.
He is a good-looking guy, right?
No doubt.
Of course he is.
So, well, Josie, I'll send you their numbers later. Well, listen, Josie, I'm glad we found this out, and thank you so much for being willing to come on and talk to these very nice ladies.
You know, my heart goes out to them.
Well, thank you so much, Josie.
I trusted Sean because he seemed like someone that I could talk to about anything. About a month into us talking, we did have phone sex. I felt like we had that connection.
Well, that was Lauren talking about her relationship with the man she thought was named Sean. So let's review. Devon was in love with David. Lauren and Bobby were in love with Sean. But it turns out David and Sean are the same person. But the real catfish doesn't look like either of them. In fact, are you ready for this, audience? The person all of these women were madly in love with, the person they shared intimate details with, slept together on the phone with, was a woman. Tell me about the moment that you found that out. The moment this hit your brain and your heart.
I don't think it sunk in. It was unreal. Totally unbelievable.
Tell me the moment it hit your brain and heart.
Sickening, shocking, unbelievable.
Bobby?
Yeah, I was shocked, and I was so mad. I couldn't even cry. I thought I would cry, but I was so angry with myself that I fell for it.
The question is, who does this and why? I want to answer that for you and for everybody else out there. But let me tell you something to be thinking about. You were all three groomed, much like a pedophile grooms a victim. You were groomed in that way because they're what I call baiters. And baiters is an acronym that I made up that stands for backstabbers, abusers, imposters, takers. I mean, just go down the list, exploiters and reckless. And this is a perfect fit for that. But one of the things they do is they find out what your needs are, what your vulnerabilities are. You know, they talk to you. They know how to listen. And then they start playing into those needs and feeding what you need. And I know that gives you a creepy feeling, but somebody groomed you. You did something that I thought was interesting. After starting to get suspicious, Lauren actually recorded a conversation she had with Sean. So you get to hear the voice. Let's listen to this.
Love you.
Love you too. You deleted your Facebook.
Yeah.
That made me sad.
Why?
Because I wanted you to refriend me. I feel like we need to kind of talk more. Obviously not when you're like half asleep.
Tomorrow.
I have like a whole week coming off. I want to see you. I didn't have a very good birthday.
Sorry. It's my fault.
I just want us to be together.
Me too.
I want to come see you.
Okay.
What if I came for your birthday?
Uh-uh.
Why?
No.
No? Okay.
I love you.
I love you too.
Does that voice sound fishy to you? Sound fishy to y'all? And why? It sounded like Sean, whatever, was trying to seem sleepy or drunk or something to kind of try to...
That recording was when he was very ill. But his voice did sound off the entire time I talked to him.
Yeah.
To me.
Did it ever sound like a woman?
I never thought that. No, I never.
You never thought this was a woman's voice? Okay. Well, Bobby's best friend, Melissa, says she made it her job to track down the person who caused her friend heartache. Take a look at this.
I became obsessed with hunting down this woman and getting justice for my friend and these other victims. There are key points in all the research that I've done that really point to this woman as the perpetrator.
I asked Bobby to have Sean send a picture of himself with something with today's date or something that would signify that this was a current picture just taken. He wouldn't do it. I thought it was extremely weird that Sean claimed to be on tour with the band Hanson. We know for a fact that this woman is a diehard Hanson fan. This woman posted a picture of her dog on Foursquare.com, and it's the same dog that Sean sent Bobby a picture of. I am 100% sure that this woman's behind this. I am not 100% sure that she's acting alone. I'm pissed because this is probably the most manipulative form of deception I've ever encountered in my life.
So you were all over this.
Yes.
You found her dog's picture on another website that was the same dog that Sean sent a picture of.
Right, I had Bobby confirm that.
What'd you think when you found the same dog?
Well, much like them, it seemed impossible to believe, so I wanted hardcore proof. And I just couldn't wrap my mind around why someone would do this. So I was slightly obsessed with, finding as much proof as I possibly could. It just seemed fishy.
Yeah. Were you defensive if somebody challenged it?
Yeah, in the very beginning I was.
Because you wanted it to be true.
Yeah, of course I did.
I was tricked by my girlfriend. She introduced me to David over the internet. We did not speak over the phone. He would not give me his phone number. David was a nice person. He was a history teacher. I told him all the time I wanted to talk to him on the phone. I got every excuse under the sun. I once asked him for his address because I wanted to send him a card, and he wouldn't give it to me. I communicated with David for probably a year. David and I did consider ourselves in a relationship. The red flags were always up. I think that the biggest thing that kept me going was the fact that my girlfriend supposedly knew him. I had gotten a message from another girl just kind of asking me if I was seeing David, and she said, have you guys ever spoken to David on the phone? Can I get his phone number? And I called the phone number that the girls had for David, and my friend answered the phone. David and my girlfriend were the same person. My first thoughts after I found all this out, after my girlfriend manipulated me, after she lied to me, was that she made me absolutely sick. If I could say that I hated one person in the world, her name would be the first one to come to mind.
Well, Kelly is on the phone with us, and Kelly, you didn't want your face shown, but you were willing to speak out about this catfish. And we won't use her name, but this woman said that she actually knew David, and she was a real cheerleader for him and actually brought gifts to you supposedly from him, right?
Correct. She had introduced me to him. She said she met him, knew his family, and knew him, that he was a great guy and that I should meet him. So that's why I pursued talking to him.
You and David were planning a future together, right?
Correct.
And same with you.
Yes.
So, wow, without ever having met, and you asked her for his address, she wouldn't give it to you?
Right. Her line was always that, she was friends with both of us, so if he didn't want to give it to me, she wouldn't give it to me, and that I had to ask him. And, she wouldn't give me his phone number because David wouldn't give me the phone number.
Right. You said you drove 2 hours. I was saying, why didn't you go to find him? Kelly drove 2 hours to find his restaurant and didn't exist, right?
Correct. I decided that if he wasn't going to come to me, I was going to go to him. And I thought if he was at work, then I could just find the restaurant and show up there, and there he would be. Well, apparently that only happens in fairy tales because his restaurant did not exist.
And David talked to Kelly about you as a psycho ex-girlfriend.
Yes.
So, here's the question you have, Kelly has, and we've added up, 26 women we know of, correct? Mm-hmm. 26 women this catfish has been working in this way. Everybody has the same question. What kind of person would do something so evil, so cruel? What kind of person would allow that to happen? You all have to be asking yourself that. Why would somebody do this? Who does this kind of thing? They got to be sick, right? I mean, come on. And then you say, okay, they're sick, but what's the payoff? You only do things that you get something out of. You do something that you get a payoff from. And one of the things that I've said to you guys is you need to recognize that you got groomed. In this world today, you got to know who you are. You got to know what your currency is, because the baiters in this world, they find out. They find out by talking to you. Look, 7% of all communication is verbal. 93% is nonverbal. It's the tone of what you say. It's not the words, it's the tone. It's how you conduct yourself. They can see it in pictures. They can see it in videos. They can see it in the way you carry yourself. You communicate a lot. This person figured out what your need was and met the need, didn't it?
Absolutely.
But who sits around and does this? Well, the good news is that the bad news leaves a pattern. And there's something that I've called the evil eight. These are just the headings. I describe these in great detail. These people have an arrogant entitlement about them. How arrogant was this woman? I mean, come on. How arrogant was she? They lack empathy. It never occurs to them. They never sit down and think, I have hurt Lauren. Devon, you got to the point that it hurt you so bad that you took a knife and opened your skin. You cut yourself because it was the only way to escape the pain you were feeling inside. There's no remorse, there's no guilt. They're irresponsible and self-destructive. They thrive on drama. Oh, come on. Cancer, car wrecks, brain tumors, all of these things. Drama, 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 drama. And how do they get in? How do they get into your life? I mean, let me tell you. This is what is in Life Code. This is what I want people to know so you can inoculate yourself to it. They infiltrate your life. I mean, come on. They figure out how to worm their way into your life. They create conspiratorial confidants. You shared secrets. They feed you information and get you to give it back to them. They build a file on you. They lie. They're frauds, right? They isolate you. They have to keep you isolated to control you. Mm-hmm. This is how they do these things. I mean, come on. Your hot buttons, they know what your currency is. They know what your currency is. I mean, these are the tools they use. This is their playbook. I mean, how obvious is it when you see it in retrospect? Now, what do you guys do? Let me tell you something. I don't want this to ever happen to you again. Ever, ever again. You got to have a defined image. You got to decide, who are you? You can't let this define you. You can't let this decide who you are. You got to define your image, decide who you are in this life. And you've got to know your currency, because the baiters know your currency. They know your currency, and if you know it and somebody starts playing up to it really big, it goes ding, 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 ding. You got to know it, and you got to have a plan, and you got to keep things close to the vest. Unfortunately, that's the way this world is. You got to always be in investigatory mode. You should never have accepted this stuff at face value. Always be in investigatory mode. Always. And the biggest thing you guys didn't do, winners always deal with the truth. They always deal with the truth. You knew long before you admitted it. You knew long before you admitted it. You knew long before you admitted it. Winners deal with the truth. There are things you can do that allow you to maintain control of your own life. You just got to be tougher. You got to be street smart savvy if you're going to survive in this world. You just have to. My next guest, Neve, is all too familiar with the story shared by Devon, Lauren, and Bobby. Let's talk about some of the warning signs, okay? Because you've seen some patterns in these things. And first off, you say the modeling profession is real frequent because I guess they can get those pictures.
Right.
They find them in the public domain.
I mean, first red flag, I think, in any online relationship is the modeling profession.
You say Facebook profiles, do they have a small number of friends?
Yeah, there's a lot of Facebook-related red flags that you can look out for. It's not all the time, but less than 100 friends is usually some kind of an indication.
And you say, and the friends aren't tagged. Tell people what you mean by that.
Yeah, that was something that we found a lot. In people's photographs, generally if they're out with friends, it's very likely that their friends will be tagged in those photos. But when people are lying and have created this personality that doesn't exist, they can't tag their friends because those aren't real, well, they're not really friends with those people.
And there are frequent stories, you say, of traumatic injuries or illnesses. You say you see car accidents a lot. Yeah, I'm sorry, but it's just, you see car accidents a lot, that sort of thing.
Yeah, well, I think you said it really well. Sympathy is an incredibly strong emotion.
No.
And it worked in my case. I mean, I fell victim just the way that you guys did to sickness and car accidents and just general dramatic life events. And the last thing you want to do when someone's going through something terrible is pressure them to meet you or do anything other than support them and just be there for them.
Yeah, and then just no pictures, particularly contemporary pictures, you know, like, hey, it's us tonight at the game. They can't show you anything right now. That's a big red flag.
Yeah, I mean, if this is someone that you've met online, you know they have a computer. You talk to them on the phone, you know they have a phone. If they don't have a phone that they can take a picture and just say, hey, here I am, you know, if you're that serious with them and you've been talking for that long, you got to expect and require them to show you to some degree that this is who they are.
Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.